Why am I not getting interviews? This is one of the most perplexing parts of job searching. There could be any number of reasons that you're not getting interviews, but I'm going to focus on the top 10 causes that I most commonly come across. And no, not even one of the reasons is the reason that That's What She Said claims in one of her very popular videos about why you're not getting interviews. Watch this video to find out the truth behind why you're not getting called for interviews. If you want twice weekly tips, tricks, and advice that will help you advance your job search faster, then you're in the right place. I post new videos every Tuesday and go live every Thursday. So hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell to get notifications for when I drop my next video. My videos will equip you with some of the most valuable information to make your job search easier, because job searching shouldn't be this hard. I'm Kamara Toffolo, resume writer, LinkedIn consultant, and job search strategist who helps established professionals dare to do work differently and land great fitting gigs. First of all, let's talk about what isn't the main reason causing your inability to get interviews. That's What She Said wants you to believe that it's the ATS, or the applicant tracking system, that's holding you back. That's What She Said also said that it's unlikely that your resume will be seen by a human. This is a myth that has been disproven multiple times. That's What She Said is not the only influencer who's trying to blame the ATS. If you Google, why am I not getting interviews? The ATS is bound to be one of the things that is blamed. We want to believe it's the ATS because the ATS is mysterious. It allows us to blame something that's external to us. It relieves us of accountability in our own job search. But in addition to being untrue, where does blaming the ATS actually leave us? It leaves us unempowered. It relinquishes power of our job search and gives it to something that actually has no power over it. Why do this? I am sick and tired of job search influencers and thought leaders perpetuating the myth that the ATS is to blame for lack of job search success. This does nothing for job seekers. It only sets them back. Okay, let me gather myself. If you want the truth about the ATS, you can check out my video on the ATS, which I've linked in the description below. I've also linked a bunch of ATS myth-busting resources in the description below too. I'm serious about this. As serious as Kevin is about Kevin's famous chili. In short, the ATS is not the reason you aren't getting interviews. Enough of my ranting. Let's get into what actually does have an effect and does impact your ability to land an interview. So let's talk about your resume being a problem. If you aren't getting interviews, it is very likely that your resume is causing some issues. So let's dive in to a few common missteps with our resumes. Your resume isn't targeted enough, or at all. I see a lot of job seekers trying to keep their resumes general because they want to keep their options open. This will cause you to have an ineffective job search. When we write in generalities and try to appeal to everyone and every possible job, aside from this truly being impossible, our resume won't connect with anyone. The solution is to get very clear on your target job before you write your resume. You can learn more about the importance of identifying your target job before writing your resume in my video, Watch This Before Writing Your Resume, which I've linked in the description below. The next common misstep that I see is your resume doesn't show that you're qualified. Going hand in hand with lacking clarity around your target job is that your resume doesn't actually show that you're qualified. Recruiters, talent acquisition professionals, hiring managers, they want to know, can you do the job? And you have to show them that you can. The most effective way to do this is through accomplishments, because it gives the reader an idea of how you demonstrated the strengths and skills that they want from you. Make sure to watch my video on writing accomplishments, which I've linked in the description below. The obstacles getting in between you and landing an interview don't begin and end just with your resume. Your LinkedIn might also be contributing to this. It's possible that your LinkedIn profile is confusing. Just like your resume needs to show you're qualified, so does your LinkedIn. In fact, you might even be looked up before you've applied to a job. That happens a lot. Your LinkedIn profile needs to align with your resume in that it has the same dates and the same facts as you've noted on your resume. Also, you want to make sure that the stories you tell on LinkedIn don't confuse readers. For example, as I was launching my business, I was still in a full-time job, and I was trying to get my LinkedIn profile to pull double duty. Show me as the skilled analyst that I was at the time, and also show me as a budding entrepreneur. Spoiler alert, this didn't work. Pick a lane and stick to it, and use LinkedIn to brand yourself towards your target direction. No one needs another social media time suck, right? But because of how important LinkedIn is in the hiring process, you do need to be showing up there regularly. Your activity is viewable on your profile. So if your last LinkedIn activity is from, say, 3 months ago, this will call into question how reachable you are on LinkedIn. Don't let that concern or question creep into a hiring professional's mind. Make sure to keep active on LinkedIn. To save time, make sure you're engaged in what LinkedIn considers high-value interactions. One of the easiest ways to engage in a high-value interaction is to comment on other people's content. If you want to post your own content, go for that too. Just make sure that you're engaging on a regular basis. And since our activity on LinkedIn is visible, we need to keep it professional. If you're using LinkedIn to complain about recruiters, or worse, you're posting offensive content, it's unlikely that you'll be perceived as a good fit for most roles. No one wants to hire a loose cannon, no matter how qualified they are. So we've talked about resumes, we've talked about LinkedIn, now let's talk about job search strategy. So maybe you're not applying online and only networking. This is a problem. And you're probably surprised to hear me say that. You're probably expecting me to say the opposite. We'll get into that. Not applying online actually is a problem. You may have heard or read headlines like how to get a job without ever applying online. This should really read more like how to get a job by applying online and networking. Let's be real here. If your target job is posted online, then you need to apply to it online. No amount of networking is going to help you circumvent that part of the process. In fact, if you don't follow that part of the process, you may be perceived as someone who doesn't follow process at work. Yikes. Recruiters and hiring managers need you to apply to the online posting. It's part of their process. They need to start a file on you, and there's a lot of legal and regulatory stuff that's going on behind the scenes, which is way above my pay grade. But as more information becomes available to me on that topic, I'll link it in the description below. So apply online for that target job. There's no reason not to, unless you're applying for jobs for which you aren't qualified. Do you ever find yourself saying, I don't have the required experience, or I don't have the required skills, but if they just gave me a chance? Here's some tough love. This hope for being given a chance is actually holding you back in your job search. Instead, spend this time developing a really good understanding of your strengths, your skills, and how they align with your target job. So stop treating job searching like a numbers game. Make sure you're very clear on your target job, clear on your target employers, and applying to jobs for which you are actually qualified. Maybe you're only applying online and not networking. I told you I'd get to this. Only applying online isn't really the best job search strategy. Networking is also very critical to your job search success. Meeting recruiters, hiring managers, people on the inside of your target companies, decision makers, this is all very important. But you still need to apply online if the job is posted online. And while we're talking about networking, perhaps you're networking poorly. Blasting generic messages to recruiters asking them for a job, or asking experts in your field if you can pick their brain, won't get you very far. In fact, these types of messages come across as intrusive. You need to make sure that when we're networking, we're really not treating it as transactional, and rather as long-term relationship building. There is a human on the other side of that message. Never forget that. So when you are sending them networking messages, make it worth their while to read and take action. For recruiters, if you applied to one of their open roles, make sure that you indicate that you did apply in your message to them, and then include a few highlights for why you're a great fit. And finally, make sure you include a call to action to connect and discuss further. If you're asking for an informational interview with an expert in your field, make sure you're customizing that message, and make sure that they really understand why you're reaching out to them. What do you admire about them? What part of their body of work do you think is awesome? Let them know. Don't be afraid to stroke their egos. And while we're talking about sending messages, the last thing I want to touch on that may be holding you back from getting interviews is that you're not following up. People are very busy, and people who are hiring are facing really unique challenges that have come with this pandemic. It's confusing. There are a lot of roadblocks to hiring people, and some are overwhelmed. Stay top of mind with the people who do hiring and follow up at reasonable intervals. I'm not talking every day by any means, but if you apply for a job or have interviewed for a job, you should be following up and reminding your contact about why you're a great fit for the role and demonstrating a really good understanding of how you can bring solutions to their business needs. Admittedly, when I was a baby resume writer, I used to think things like font choice would have an impact on your ability or inability to get an interview. But as I became more experienced in my field and as I studied and learned from the people who live and breathe hiring, I developed a much better understanding of what's happening and how recruiters and hiring managers actually read resumes and engage with job search applicants and candidates. The folks who live and breathe hiring are who I turn to for the truth on job search. And the truth is, the ATS is not the reason you aren't getting an interview. And here's my cue for you. Which of the 10 things that we covered do you think is getting in your way of getting an interview? Tell me in the comments below. I make a lot of videos, but I also make free guides to help you in your job search. If you'd like my free cover letter guide and checklist, make sure you sign up for it. The link is in the description below. And if you like this video, give it a like, share it with a friend, and click on my face over there or in the corner over here and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.